I just wanted to add one thing just for you guys. I would really recommend, I think you probably are doing this already, but to look at sites like LinkedIn to be able to build your network. Right? And don't hesitate to try and find me on LinkedIn and become my contact, because you can then get access. And I'm not doing this as a plug, but it is a useful tool to help you network through the industry, and to, as soon as you become my contact, then you have it open to all my contacts. So the online editorial community in Toronto or in Canada, particularly Toronto, is pretty small. Everybody kind of knows each other, and get involved in the groups like Online News Association if you're interested in this area. But it's a way to help build the contacts. And take down all your party pictures on Facebook, by the way, because we'll be looking.
Hi, I'm just wondering if any of you are currently hiring, and if you are, what you're looking for.
No, the short answer is no, not right now. But I would absolutely encourage, I love meeting people and networking with folks and potential employees, because to be quite honest with you, I'll be very transparent, I hate hiring. I hate the process. There's so much paperwork and so much other crap you have to put up with. I would rather meet with people along the way, because then I have a bucket that I can go to and go, well, I remember that person. And this has happened to me on numerous occasions where I've talked to somebody, just networked with them, and then something does come up 2 weeks later or a month later, and then I go, oh yeah, I remember that person who came in and spoke. He or she was pretty good. I'll bring them back. They'll go through a series of interviews at Microsoft. You know, there's a lot of process at Microsoft, so you have to go through a series of interviews. But in terms of what I'm working for, I mean, you know, Photoshop skills are great. You know, familiarity with video. You don't really need, in our role, you don't really need to shoot video, but it's handy to know how to do that. Blogging, are you currently blogging? Do you have a Twitter account? Are you on Facebook? Do you understand metrics like Google Analytics, that type of thing? Copy editing skills, obviously. But the most essential thing is a great attitude, and it's kind of hard to. That's not really a tangible thing, but we're looking for people who are a great fit with the team, because you need to collaborate. And you know, we don't work in silos. The team works together in order to hit their targets and to create an engaging experience for our audience. So we look for that fit. And I'll often, when I'm interviewing somebody for a role, I'll often have them meet with some members of the team as well to just get their feedback on how this person would be in terms of a fit.
We hired someone from your program about 6 months ago, and she's excellent, and we're really enjoying having her. We aren't currently hiring. Positions don't come up often. It's certainly someone typically has to leave for someone else to come in. But we are always hiring freelance writers, and as I mentioned, that is 80 to 90% of our content. So if you are interested in writing for Homemakers magazine, or any magazine, but if you're interested in writing for Homemakers, then certainly just try to pick up a copy or send me a note, and I will mail you a copy and have a close read of it, and then pitch me. The more specific the pitch, the more focused, the more timely, the more it focuses on what's appropriate for our magazine uniquely and another, and the more interesting it is, and the more unique you're offering, then the more interested we are, and we'll do our best to find a spot for it in our lineup. So yes, freelancers, always hiring.
It's rare for us to hire more experienced people now because of what's happening in the industry. People aren't leaving, like they're hanging on to their jobs unless they take a buyout. So most of the hiring we do now is on our summer program, and that's probably more relevant to the people here. When we hire 6 summer interns at the Post, and 3 of them are in news. It's difficult for me to find good hires in business and sports. There are tons of people who want to be foreign correspondents, and there are tons of people who want to review movies and work in arts, but it's difficult for me to find people who have formal business training or have actually written for a business publication. Those people are gold for me. It's difficult for me to find somebody in sports who has done who has gone beyond writing, covering varsity teams for the school paper. There are a few people out there, and I jump on them when I can. So one way to penetrate a newsroom summer program is to take advantage of your specialty if you have an interest in that area. With regards to news hires, they're probably the most competitive hires in Canadian journalism, I would say, especially cracking a larger newspaper. The main thing I do is I look for people who understand the National Post. It's very different than the Globe and Mail and the Toronto Star. So I always ask for story ideas in an interview, and I gauge whether the person has an understanding of the paper they're coming to. Beyond that, I like people who are bilingual. A driver's license is important. We're in Don Mills. It can't be overemphasized. If you have daily experience in a newsroom, that is gold as well. At our level, we're not going to train you ABCs. When you step into our newsroom, I will show you to your desk, give you your logons, introduce you to the people around you. You'll get a one-day orientation, and then you're going to be left alone. You better have story ideas, and you better have drive and a solid work ethic. So I look for people who have demonstrated that in the past. It may sound harsh, but I think we all get hundreds of resumes from students who have not gone beyond writing for the student newspaper. And I'm sympathetic to them. I know they have heavy course loads, and they do as much as they can. Somehow there are students who find the time to, during the summer, it might be the hometown paper, they might do it without getting paid, but that will make your resume stand out from hundreds of others if you have clippings that are not from a student paper. So that is important as well. But we hire at a very demanding level. Our 3 hires in news that are coming, they're starting in 2 weeks. 2 of them worked at the Montreal Gazette last summer, and one of them, believe it or not, is still floating around after doing a 1-year contract at the Toronto Star and has not been able to find something. So we have a high level of experience in our news hires. I just can't emphasize enough to you how important it is to get into a newsroom and start building a portfolio of news stories that go beyond what's in the student newspaper. Having said that, your clippings in the student newspaper are important. Where resumes are equal, I read your clips, and I want to see that you can write. It's important.
And I'll just add that for us, we need generalists, because we do like when people have a specific interest in, say, autos or finance, but we need to be able to take that person sometimes and put them on the entertainment channel or put them on the sports channel. So we need people who have flexibility that way as well. And the other thing that I just wanted to say, and I think John touched upon it, is that, you know, when people come in for an interview, you absolutely do your homework and make sure you've looked at the site and come in and critique it. I mean, we want people who come in and go, hey, why are you doing it this way? Why aren't you doing it this way? and make sure you have examples and show us, because we're not afraid to take the criticism, but we want to make sure that you've looked at the site thoroughly, that you've done your homework before you come in and sit down with us.
Well, I'd like to just take a moment and thank